Okay, so this is a quick walkthrough of a way to automatically bake objects at an interval. This file is going to be on my website if you're not already there, www.henrygrosman.com. And I started out with the Simple Bake VB component that I found on the Grasshopper website, and I couldn't figure out who made it, and I would give them proper credit if I could. But I modified it to have this input toggle, so it only bakes when toggle is set to true. And then what I've created is I've created a counter that basically updates every time Grasshopper updates, and when it takes as its input a toggle of whether it should be active and a bake interval. So the way it works is if you set the bake interval to 30, it counts, and every time it gets to 30, it switches the gate to true. And if you hook up the gate to this simple bake, it'll then bake. So down here in this file, I just created a sphere. And what I use here is the two other outputs are the count, just so you can see it counting, and this toggle count, which counts how many times it bakes according to the interval. So if you set up a timer, and the way you set up a timer, I'll set up another one, is you add it, you set the interval, maybe 100 milliseconds, and then you shift click and drag it to the toggle counter, and that will update now every 100 milliseconds. So if I double click on it, now it's off. If I double click on it, now it's on. It's basically updating. But this toggle here is set to false. If I set it to true, then every 100 milliseconds it's updating the count, and every time the count reaches my bake interval, which I've set to be 30, it toggles toggles the gate to true, which sets up a bake, and it increments the toggle count. And that's useful. Down here, I'm using that toggle count to send to a move. So I'm moving my sphere. So what's happening, you would see this if my layer color were not black, is that every 30 increments, and the increments are happening at 100 milliseconds each, I get a new sphere. That's how it works. So I can click this to disable the timer. Now it's not running. If I set the toggle to false, then all my values reset. I could set my bake interval to be higher, like 10, and then turn the timer on, turn the toggle on, and then I get a new sphere every 10 updates. And that's how it works. So feel free to download the files and use it.